everyone, my name is Serenity, and I just wanted to talk about something that was on my mind, and it's about being an empath. I just want to know if it resonates with anyone, honestly. Um, so for anyone who basically consider themselves an empath, do you all ever feel so intensely to the point where you just start numbing everything out, like everything, because maybe like there's just so many feelings or so many just energies coming at you all at once, so you just kind of have to numb everything out and I guess disassociate. Because for the longest, I knew that what I was dealing with was being an empath, and I knew there was something, I was going through something even before I even knew what an empath was, because I've been dealing with this ever since I was a small child, where I would enter a room full of people and just feel all kinds of different emotions that I just knew weren't mine, and I'd get very overwhelmed. Or on the other hand, I seemed to be, in my opinion, the only one that was very observant to little details that were going on. Whether there was just somebody's energy that was off, or some little detail of something that was wrong or that needed to be looked at or given attention. Um, and I didn't know why. I just thought maybe everyone, felt that way and they were just ignoring it. And now I just feel like maybe I really was one of the only people who was observing these things, or maybe somebody else was and they really were choosing to ignore it. Because I got to a certain point where I started kind of going into the opposite. I just felt like, nope, I don't want to look at anything, I don't want to feel anything, I don't want to attend to anything. I don't want to be the only one in the room who notices this small detail, and therefore I am the only one responsible to look into it or handle it or whatever. And so for the longest, I was actually confused about maybe what was going on with me, because I went from just, feeling the need to jump in and, take care of any situation that felt off to me, or investigate what was going on, or even just start crying. I would start crying or feeling very emotional and didn't know what to do. So I would kind of just let it take over. There's no other way to put it except I would let it take over. Like I couldn't stay focused on whatever I needed to do in order to process what I was feeling. Um, and then at a certain point, I want to say somewhere in like my late teen years, I got where I was so exhausted. I mean, like physically and mentally exhausted, and there's many reasons for that. But in regards to this situation, I got mentally and physically exhausted of doing all of that, just being the only one who noticed, what was wrong in a room, to the point where I would feel it and immediately just shut down. I would just, nope, that's not there. No, I don't feel that. Or I would see something, I would see that it was wrong, and I would see that maybe it needed attending to, or I would see someone who clearly was either being ignored or was having some kind of issue that no one else was noticing, or their energy was off. And in most cases, I would like, hey, what's going on? Can you talk to me? And they'd be like, wow, like, how did you know there was something wrong? Um, I would actually start, looking at said person and just turning my head and walking away because I couldn't take it. I know I don't have the energy for this. And it makes me feel like maybe that is like, I want to say maybe the dark side of it. Like maybe, clearly I wasn't learning how to just manage what I was feeling, and maybe discerning which thing needed my attention and which thing was something that I could just say, you know what, I can let that work itself out. Um, and I started feeling really guilty. Like, I don't know how else to put it except for it started making me feel extreme guilt. So I got to a point where I was like, am I being am I heartless right now? Like, I don't know what's come over me, but I don't feel connected to anything. And I started kind of replaying some things in my head, and I noticed that when I started like thinking about it and I wasn't just living in autopilot, I replayed some things that would happen throughout my day, and I would notice, you know what, I actually did feel that thing, or I did notice that one problem, but I chose to ignore it and move on. And I thought, how do I get around that? How do I get around like being that way? Because now I'm almost like at first I was in autopilot mode of just constantly feeling stuff without being able to control it. Now it's almost like I'm in autopilot mode of having to ignore everything around me, and now I don't know, what to do and what not to do. Because I still have my own things I have to deal with throughout the day. I can't always be bothered with everything else that's going on around me. But at the same time, I don't feel like that's what my whatever this is, I don't think that's what the purpose for it is to just like feel it and ignore it and move on in your life. So, hey, sorry about that. My phone like totally stopped recording. So anyway, let me just wrap this up real quick because apparently I'm like running out of storage. Um, so how many of you out there who resonate with being an empath, how many of you have actually dealt with this type of thing? Like, how many of you have gone from the extreme, I feel too much, to the extreme, I feel nothing? Because if you have, I want to know about it. Like, please, if you take the time to watch this and this does resonate with you, I don't have any like solutions for it right now. I think I want to get more. I'd like to do a longer video about this and maybe get into some solutions or get into like how I have started managing this. But for now, I really just kind of wanted to put it out there and see how many other people have actually dealt with this exact feeling or phenomenon, of just going from, really high energy and feeling a lot to just really like low, okay, I feel nothing at all. Nothing is, I mean, it's like you're feeling it, but you're choosing to ignore it, and so you just go numb. If that's the case, how many of you have dealt with that? Because I've actually dealt with it and it freaked me out. It actually really freaked me out. So nowadays, the whole reason I'm even talking about it is because I am trying to work on fixing that. I'm trying to, remember, like, I'm taking a breath instead of just moving through the day really fast. I'm trying to just take a breath and just start, like, discerning what's going on around me and what needs my attention and what doesn't, and what can be helped and what can't, etc., etc. So yeah, I will probably do another video, like maybe a part 2 in more detail about this, or maybe just wrapping it up and talking about how I'm working on it now. But I definitely would love to hear anybody else's experiences with this, so please leave a comment if you have felt this. Share it with somebody else who might resonate with it as well, and if you like what you're hearing so far, please subscribe. I would appreciate it. Anyway, until next time, love and blessings. I'll see you soon. Bye.